Welcome to Bennett's BikeSocial, welcome to stunning Tuscany, and welcome to a throwback to the 90s, and this is the XSR900. Okay, don't worry, I have not jumped on the wrong bike. This is the new XSR, look, from Yamaha, the 90s throwback, which is my era. Yeah, it kind of rekindles memories of TZR250s, first Delta Box chassis, FZR750, FZR1000, Street Fighters, that kind of era, or 90 Yamaha France GP bikes. But it's not just a cosmetic change. It's got the new MT09 engine, so we've got more power, more torque. Got a new chassis, we've got lighter wheels, different forks, the wheelbase is longer, we have a new rider aids that are lean sensitive. Because the old bike didn't have any rider aids. That was kind of a bit of the beauty of the old bike, was its simplicity. And now we've got cornering ABS, cornering traction control, slide control and anti-wheelie. We've even got cruise control and an up and down quick shifter. Now, I love the look of this bike. I loved the old bike in 2015, but have Yamaha added rider aids that's going to dilute the fun of the old bike? That's my biggest question of today. Now I fit slap bang into the age group who love the styling and look of this bike. It reminds me of those Yamaha 90s bikes, reminds me of the TZR250, which was the first one to have the Delta Box chassis. I remember having an FZR1000, my brother had an FZR1000, and I look at it and I see that big flat tank and that big styling, and I instantly think 90s. I instantly think of that era that I loved. That's what got me into motorcycles. Big bruises, big frame. We used to polish them up and make them all shiny. It was pretty sad, to be fair, but I love the look of this bike. But it's not just all about the looks. This is obviously and essentially an MT09 that was being upgraded recently, so 117 horsepower, but there's a lot of changes from this bike to the old XSR900. Now the previous model, if I remember rightly, was launched about 2015-16, and I did do the launch in Fuerteventura, so I should remember it, and I just enjoyed the simplicity of that bike. It was a pretty simple, easy to ride bike. But this is another level. I think it's grown up, it's got more sophisticated. First of all, the electronics. We've now got a full 6-axis IMU, so that gives us cornering traction control, slide control and cornering ABS, and we've got anti-wheelie, which on this bike needs to be turned off almost immediately. But the good thing is you can trim those modes. So I ran for the majority of the day with no anti-wheelie, but loads of traction and loads of slide control. So if I hit a little bit of gravel or exit in a corner, I had that control, but I could still have fun. And that's the beauty, is it is quite simple and easy to change the modes. Have to be done really at a standstill, but if you want more traction and you're a little bit nervous, you can turn down the power. There's multiple power modes. The first mode is a little bit sharp, to be fair. I probably wouldn't even bother. I just touched it to see what it was like. I rode the majority of the time in 2, but if you go down to 3 and 4, they're super soft. In terms of handling, The rider is sat further back because we've got this really elongated long tank. Now when you sit the rider further back, that causes wheelies because there's more weight further back. So to compensate for that, we've got a longer swinging arm. You increase the wheelbase, less chance of wheeling. But when you lengthen the swinging arm, you have more pivot, squashing the shock. So you've got to change the shock, which is what they've done. So we've got a completely different rear shock, completely different forks to what we had previously, completely different chassis. It's very forgiving, very easy to ride, it rolls into corners, there's nothing untoward, it's very stable, it's very friendly, very usable. If you were going to go a little bit more aggressive, which some people might, you could take this on track. You are going to have to tweak the suspension because it is a little soft. But aside from that, I think everybody else is going to fit perfectly. If you're putting luggage on and a brave pillion, you're going to have to change the rear shock slightly, but it is adjustable, as is the fully adjustable forks. I've had such a thoroughly enjoyable days riding here. It's perfect conditions, it's perfect weather with good friends in Tuscany, riding a bike that reminds me of being a teenager. It's going to be a win-win every time. In the UK, it's just over £10,000, which makes it £600 or £700 more than the MT09, but I'd have this over the MT09 every time. And in the land of PCP, it's going to be a couple of quid a month, let's be fair. Love the bike, just hate the fact it reminds me of the 90s, and I've just realised I'm pretty old.